see us soon?
No.
Well, you got the little thingy on. No? There we go.
Live stream. There they are.
Excellent. Hello.
Oh. Yeah, people are starting to come in.
Oh.
Perhaps we'll wait another 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll get started.
Sounds good. Oh, it looks like we lost them again. Okay. Well, hopefully they
They'll
can
be
get
back.
back online here. There we go.
Bernie, I've taken us live on YouTube. If you want, you can post that link on the Shantani Facebook page. I'm just going to text it to you now.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
How are you there, Sensei Peter?
Good evening. How is everyone?
Ah, very well.
Good, good. Were you doing a birthday dinner?
Yes, one of many.
Hi, Joanne. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Sensei Dennis?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, everyone's sneaking on at the last minute.
Oh, yeah, that's like I was saying. It's like attending a tournament. You wait till the last couple of days before entering.
Yeah.
Oh, now listen, the phone's back.
Being on mute.
We're back.
Hi there. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes here.
Nice. You'll be able to still bring people in as we're going, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Yep.
And-
Absolutely.
Yeah, this room
Uh,
automatically lets people in, so that we won't have to
Nice.
do anything for that.
Nice.
And the live link will also be up on the SWKKF Facebook page shortly for anyone who wants to watch from there.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Allison. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Good stuff. Sensei
All right,
Blaine,
maybe-
how are you?
Good.
Hi, Sensei Blaine.
Hey.
Maybe just as people are continuing to filter in here, I'm going to open up the first poll for the people who are joining us in the Zoom call. Just asking how many years you've been part of the organization. That should be something you should be able to answer now.
Do you have 50 and over? That's awesome. I like the way you got this set up, nicely.
I'll just leave that open until we get started. Sensei Dennis, we can get started whenever you'd like to. Just let me know.
Okay,
We can give it a couple more people or a couple more minutes for people to join.
let's see where we are. It's at 7:01. Perhaps we'll wait a couple more minutes and then I'll get started. Now, do you get these polls? You get results right off the bat, basically?
Yep, absolutely. So once a few more people have answered here, I'll just end the poll and you can see the results up here.
Okay, that's interesting.
We'll do a couple of those throughout the night just so we can get a little bit of a picture of who's joining us here tonight.
Yeah.
Hello, Sensei Craig.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Craig, how's it going?
It's going good.
Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. You have the results of the, or you're going to wait a few more?
I think everyone has answered now. Let's take a look here. So we've
Yeah,
actually got quite a good spread. Some newer members, some people with some. I think we probably should have broken 31 plus into more categories there, because I think
Yeah,
we've got
I'd
some
imagine
people.
for tonight's audience, you would probably have quite a bit. So the question
Yeah.
was, how many years have you been in part of the Shintani Karate Federation? So it looks like we got 23% that are younger. They're between 1 and 5. And then 8% between 6 and 10 years old, and anything 11 years old and 15. Got 15% there. I'm going to scroll down here if I could. And then it goes 8%, 15% for 21 to 30-year-old. And then you got a full 31% for the 31 years old and over. You may have a few of those that are 50 and over as well, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm going to leave this to Sensei Bernadine here, our host, and thank you very much, Scott, for joining us to help out for the any technical situations we need and moving this thing forward. So I'll leave it up to you there, Sensei Bernadine.
All right. Well, thank you, Sensei Dennis. We'll get the formal program started here. So thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. I know we've got some people from across Canada joining us on the Zoom call, and hello to everyone joining in person in Delhi. I see lots of people waving. Thank you again so much for joining us. So tonight we're here to celebrate the SWKKF and the legacy of Sensei Shintani. The Shintani Wadokai Karate Federation aims to be the premier traditional karate and Shindo organization in North America. This can only be accomplished through the work of our highly skilled and dedicated instructors in developing unparalleled character, skill, and pride in our karate students. Our members are the backbone of our organization. Without their spirit of generosity, care, and dedication, the SWKKF would not and will not survive. It's important, therefore, to recognize the generous contributions of our members who embody the SWKKF core values of honor, excellence, community, kindness, and humility. So before we begin, it's my honor to introduce, though I think he needs no introduction, our SWKKF president, Sensei Dennis LeBay. Sensei Dennis is a ninth Dan who started his karate journey as a student of Sensei Shintani in 1972 in Welland, Ontario. In June of 1997, Sensei Shintani formed the SWKKF Senate, where Sensei Dennis held the position of Secretary General for 10 years. In May of 2000, Sensei Shintani passed away, and Sensei Dennis became the successor as president of the SWKKF. Sensei Dennis continues to train, to teach seminars, and attend tournaments and black belt gradings across Canada. Please join me in welcoming Sensei Dennis LeBay. And I do have a welcome video that I'm just going to share with you.
That was a wonderful video, Sensei Bernadine, but there was no audio turned on for it.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. All right, give me a moment. We'll get that fixed. All right, quick test all. Can we hear this?
No. It's always technical difficulties. We tested this not 20 minutes ago and it was working wonderfully.
I'll give everyone a moment to just chat amongst themselves and we'll get the technical difficulties sorted out here. Apologize.
On behalf of the SWKKF Senate, I would like
All good. All good, Bernie.
Perfect. All right, let's try this again. Sorry for the false start. Here we go.
On behalf of the SWKKF Senate, I would like to welcome all of you to the 5th Annual Reach Award and Tournament Celebration. I would like to acknowledge all the adjustments that were made over the past 2 years, the hard work of our instructors at Karateka, and the excitement for moving back in-person training and to tournaments and clinics coming up over the next year. I had an opportunity 2 weeks ago conducting a clinic in person in Calgary the night before the grading. It was great to be back on the floor, and I look forward to do more of this in the coming year.
All right, thank you so much, Sensei Dennis. So we've mentioned our SWKKF core values of honor, excellence, community, kindness, and humility. Today we'll start with our focus on excellence. This past year has seen the SWKKF continue to be truly innovative in bringing together members from across the country, the US, and even international locations. It's been great to see us moving slowly back to in-person tournaments and clinics and to see an in-person event in Delhi today. But it's also been amazing to see the investment in virtual tournaments with karateka from all regions competing in kata, kumite, and shindo. The pandemic has not been able to squash or stop our karate spirit. Speaking of tournaments, Sensei Anne Reedhead has been instrumental in organizing our National Shintani Memorial Tournaments. Last year, we incorporated videos from key members of our SWKKF family. This year, we've asked Sensei Anne to share a few thoughts and reflections on the early years of her karate. So I'll hand it over to Sensei Anne to hear what she has to say.
Hello, my name is Sensei Anne Reedhead, and I had the honor and the privilege of training and learning with Sensei Shintani. I've been asked today to think of some memories I have of my training with Sensei Shintani. And I think my most significant memory is that Sensei Shintani always treated everyone respectfully and equally, regardless of your gender or your race or your abilities. He instructed students to reach their highest level of physical ability by dedicating themselves to their workouts and their karate. But he also emphasized the importance of developing good and honorable character as a karateka. I clearly remember him saying, you want to be a person who does good karate, but you also want to be a good person who does karate. So in this way, he always expected students to be honorable, compassionate, and respectful at all times. And this is an ethos that has remained with me as I think of my memories of Sensei Shintani. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sensei Anne, for those words. And I'd like to say thank you to all of those who helped to organize this year's Shintani tournament, as well as to all of those who competed. This year, there were a total of 95 competitors, with 50 youth participants, 45 adult participants, and 29 black belts. The full list of tournament winners will be published on the SWKKF site, and we'll give you a preview of that as well at the end of this presentation. Next up, we'd like to recognize all of those who've been graded to the top ranks within the SWKKF. And for that, I'll hand it back to Sensei Dennis.
On June 26, 2021, we had a Senate Black Belt grading, and these are the recipients. To the rank of Rokudan, 6 Dan, Marco Rees from Jarvis Wadokai, Tim McCollum from Port Dover Wadokai Karate, Dave Bernowski from Simcoe Wadokai Karate, Jill Dupree from Hamler Wadokai Karate, Dwayne Wenman from Michipicoten Wadokai Karate, Ron White from Wawa Wadokai Karate, Randy Cuomo from Elk Valley Wadokai Karate, Henry Bergens from the St. Catharines Wadokai Karate, Joseph Prune from the Lakeside Karate Club, Sensei John Thompson, Eddie Poulet, and Alan Bizier from the Welland Martial Arts Center. To the rank of Rokudan, Sensei Jim Atkinson from the Delhi Wadokai Karate. And to the rank of Kudan, 9th Dan, Robert Graham from Hamburg, New York, the Wadokai Karate. I would like to congratulate them for all of the ranks that they have received.
Congratulations to all, and please be sure to stay after the awards presentation to congratulate all of these sensei. Moving forward, we'll start with the REACH Award presentations. To do that, I'd like to introduce Sensei Beverly Bierman King to kick off the presentation of the REACH Awards. Now, Sensei Beverly is the chair of the REACH committee. She unfortunately couldn't join us here live tonight, but I do have to say that she was instrumental in putting together this event, and she has prepared a recording for us as well.
Now is the time for our REACH Awards. REACH stands for Recognizing Extraordinary Achievement, Contribution, and Hard Work. Members were invited to nominate under 5 categories of leadership, contributor, ambassador, and the Male and Female Athlete Award. We thank those who took the time to send in their nominations, and many thanks to those who sat on the selection committee for going through each of these nominations. Sensei Dennis LeBay will present this year's award recipients for our 5th annual REACH Awards. The Leadership Award, the very first one. The Leadership Award recognizes an individual who demonstrates outstanding leadership and effective mentorship within the SWKKF.
This year's recipient trained with Sensei Shintani in mid-80s onward. He co-founded his club almost 30 years ago and is one of our largest club in Western Canada. He studied the art of Bunkai in depth and can translate it to kata Sensei Shintani taught. This recipient was described as a seasoned professional executive. He brings the experience to the organization and helps everyone think differently. As one karateka wrote, he has done a fantastic job helping the SWKKF in developing their strategic plan. His leadership throughout the process has been great and is helping the SWKKF to maintain long-term viability. Please join me in congratulating Sensei James Freeman as this year's Leadership Award recipient.
Congratulations to Sensei James. I'm just going to take a look here. I don't see Sensei Jim online right now, but again, congratulations, very well deserved. We will move forward with the next presentation then. So our second reflection video is from Sensei Rick Levier. Sensei Levier is a 9th Dan from Elkford, BC. Sensei Levier was first drawn to the discipline of karate in 1971 after visiting a Shitoryu dojo in Vancouver. However, it wasn't until 1973, after attending a Wado karate demonstration in Wawa, Ontario with Sensei Don Gerard, that Sensei Levier started his karate career. Sensei Levier has dedicated that career to promoting Wado Kai all over Canada as well as in Northern Ontario. In 2016, Sensei Levier stepped down from the SWKKF Senate. However, he continues to serve as a trusted Senate advisor. So let's hand it over to Sensei Rick.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rick Levier. I've been asked to speak for the Reach Awards, which I'm honored to do. I'm a retired Senate member. Been practicing karate for 49 years this year. And one of the things I was going to talk about was a story that Mr. Shintani Sensei told me while he was visiting me in Wawa, Ontario. In 1993, I had a clinic set up, and in that weekend, Sensei Bruce Perkins and Sensei Jack Jingraw came with Sensei Shintani to visit for that weekend. We stayed together. Sensei Shintani and I stayed in the chalet in Wawa, and he told me a story about his days in the wartime camps in BC. He said that the log chalet reminded him of those days, and it was a very memorable experience for me because it was one of the very few times that I've actually had time to spend with Sensei alone, because there's always people that want to be with him. And which is cool, and I was being a little selfish, I guess, but it was, it's something I'll always remember. It was special to me. So he told me about how he started karate training in that part of BC. It was in the West Kootenays, in actually New Denver, BC. And he had been out in the wintertime with some of his friends, exploring, and they were outside of the camp and outside of town in the bush, and they heard something going on. So they went further into the bush, and they found this man who was punching a tree. And that was his first sight of Sensei Kitagawa, his first sensei. And he told me about some of the training that they did, which was all done in secret. And, you know, it was something that was very personal because, you know, he was telling me something that nobody else in that area, in that camp knew. So I found that out years and years later. So I'll always remember that conversation. And the karate that he learned was different than what it is today. And you know, years and years later, I coined the phrase for my students in our group. I coined the phrase bush karate, which is still used widely today. But one of the things that I think a lot of people don't really realize is that Sensei Shintani was the first to practice and learn bush karate, just because of how he did it. So that was very cool for me, because as you see this picture that's on the screen, this picture was in 1975, I believe it was. This group of people that you see here were all friends of mine. Sensei Danny McCoy is one of the ones that were both on the far right. We were blue belts at the time. we were attending a camp in the summertime in Kapuskasing. And one of the activities that we were doing was we would run down the road to this big sand pit and climb. Half the group would go up to the top of the hill, and the rest of the group were instructed to run up the hill and throw those people off the top of the hill. Now, if you look closely at the picture, you'll see that one person in the center front row, his sleeve is torn right off. Well, that's the kind of day it was. It was pretty rough and tough, but it was so much fun. And I think one of the things that I came away with all of this, this whole thing about bush karate was the camaraderie that we all shared. And many of these people in this picture that you can see are still close friends and still share something that we'll never lose. So I give this to you, you students and members of the Shintani Federation, that we've all done these kind of activities, these kind of training outings and different ways. But you look at the picture, and I have students there that are still practicing today. And Sensei Danny and I share that still. So that was a long time ago. But I want to give that to you, that everything you do as a group and this federation, this group of karate people, is a sharing, and the camaraderie will stay with you for the rest of your life. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you so much, Sensei Rick, for the wonderful stories and wonderful memories, and some wisdom there as well. And thank you for that wonderful photo. I know I really enjoyed that. I think now is a good time for those who are online just to open up another one of our polls. And that should be open right now. And just asking who's present today has had the opportunity to train directly with Sensei Shintani. One thing that I think Sensei Dennis brought up as well at the recent black belt grading is that as we kind of go forward and we have more and more younger people in the organization, there are less and less of us who had that direct connection to Sensei Shintani and that opportunity to work with him. And as such, I think some of the stories that we're hearing tonight are so important and so valuable just to continue that legacy and to have that connection to where this organization comes from. Now I'll share the poll results here, and we're pretty close. I think we have a good representation of people here tonight who did get to work with Sensei Shintani, but you'll see 53% of us, so just over half, myself included, unfortunately never had the chance to train with Sensei Shintani. But again, it's what makes events like this so important, just to continue that connection and continue that legacy. So we'll move on now to our next award presentation, and this is the Ambassador Award.
The Ambassador Award recognizes an individual with a strong, positive voice who advocates, raises awareness, or enhances the image of the SWKKF in the greater community.
This year's recipient was instrumental in all of the Shintani virtual tournament, and he was the second in Tech Command during the Karate Alberta Selection Tournament in Calgary. He used his impressive skill set to promote karate, now that he has retired, and this has enabled students to compete and keep the competitive spirit thriving. As quoted in his nomination, he has stepped up in the organization and is willing to go extra mile to help others. Please join me in congratulating Sensei Doug Taylor as this year's Ambassador Award recipient.
Congratulations to Sensei Doug. And I'm just taking a look here. Unfortunately, it looks like Sensei Doug was not able to join us. I can say that he was working very hard to get tournament results out this morning, so I'm sure that he's been quite busy today. But for all of our recipients so far, Sensei James Freeman and Sensei Doug Taylor, please do take the opportunity after this event, if they weren't here, to pass on your congratulations to all of these individuals. We'll continue on to our next award presentation, and these are the Male and Female Athlete Awards.
The Male and Female Athlete Award recognizes an individual who excels as a karateka through their dedication to training, attending tournaments and clinic opportunities, and achieving excellence as a result of this dedication.
This year's female athlete has a depth of knowledge to karate that is seldom seen, which is made up even more impressive by the fact that she is a recent shodan. Not only can she do her karate in a strong, fast, and powerful way, she is able to explain it to others in a manner that is simple and easy to understand. This year's recipient joined the tournament team, which focused on high-level athletic performance in the ring and on the dojo floor, and has continued to hold her spot on the team for the past 5 years. She's an incredibly strong athlete and a fierce competitor in the ring. She has been active on the tournament circuit for several years, placing gold or silver in most divisions. Please join me congratulating Sensei Natalie Wong as this year's Female Athlete Award recipient. This year's male athlete has competed in many virtual tournaments. He has recently been selected as a member of Karate Alberta and Team Canada. He comes to class with a smile on his face and always does his best. He has an attitude to learn, always receptive to feedback, and a drive to continually do better. From his international tournament participation, he is now ranked 5th in the world. This recipient, along with Natalie Olson, filmed a documentary called Sensei, which has won awards. This film has promoted inclusive of persons with a disability in the dojo. Please join me to congratulate Sensei Conrad Group as this year's Male Athlete Awards recipient.
Congratulations to Sensei Natalie and Sensei Conrad. Just checking. Thanks, Sensei Natalie. I believe you're online here. If you'd like to unmute, you're welcome to say a few words.
Hello. When I came on this call, this was not what I was expecting at all. But I guess thank you so much for nominating me and believing in me and giving me, I guess, this crazy, amazing recognition. And I'm really grateful. And I think, especially in these last few years, especially as we've been doing, as you said, like we have the tournament team with our club, the Bushido Karate Association, and we have multiple different classes with, for example, Sensei Scott Knowles or Sensei James Freeman. And I feel like I've just developed a new kind of sense of appreciation for karate that I never really saw, because as like a younger kid, you kind of just think more about like, oh yeah, you punch or you kick. But then you kind of just see like that whole new, there's kind of like that whole new world that kind of just starts to unfold as you start thinking about, for example, like the bunkai, or you start thinking about kind of just on a deeper level of like why you do karate, or what is like the purpose of karate. And I guess just to wrap up this rant, thank you so much for this award, and I really appreciate it, and I look forward to karate in the years to come.
Thank you, Sensei Natalie. Excellent. I'm just looking here. Do we see Sensei Conrad on the call? Unfortunately, looks like no. But again, please take the time to congratulate Sensei Conrad. And if you haven't seen the documentary Sensei yet, then I highly recommend you check it out. So moving forward with our presentations, I'd like to introduce Sensei Peter Avino, Ryukudan of the SWKKF and World Martial Arts in Buffalo, to share his reflections.
On the side, and I thought he was I can tell you that Sensei was never what I expected ever since I attended tournaments as a white belt. I remember seeing him on the side, and I thought he was a grandparent or a parent watching one of their kids or friends in the ring. I didn't believe my instructor when he said that that was Sensei. And he was always like that. He was always welcoming. And I remember coming up to tournaments, and if there's one of us or 10 of us, the American anthem always played. So it always made you feel welcome. And coming up through the ranks, I remember testing for my black belt. And before testing, having a meeting with Sensei. Again, nothing that I expected. I expected to be talking to him about katas and about fighting and about different techniques. And when I walk in and say hi to him, he laughs, says hi, says it's good to see me. And he asked me, you know, hey, there's differences between the laws in the US and Canada about self-defense. And what do you think about that? And, we talked a little bit about that. And he said, well, what do you think about the idea of self-defense? And, I gave him my young, unpolished opinion about it. And he laughed and he listened to me. But what he did basically is said, well, what happens after? What happens after all these things happen? And, we're left to deal with the consequences. I remember saying, well, wow, I guess I never thought about that. And he didn't get mad. He just laughed. And he says, well, I guess you have now. And that's why we're talking about it. So, and I remember the day of my grading, really super hot day. And Sensei, was looking over the whole class. 2 hours into it, we're at intermission. It's very hot. The floor is this linoleum floor. I'm throwing every technique as hard as I possibly can because I'm so young. I go and hide at intermission because I didn't want the judges to see me almost passing out in this little cubby area. And I'm hydrating. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, Sensei comes up. I'm thinking, oh my God, Sensei's here. I better straighten up. And I'm barely breathing. And at the time, he smoked quite a bit. And I remember being in this small area and two distinct things. One, I could barely breathe because he was smoking. And two, he said, karate is for everyone. It's not a Canadian thing. It's not an American thing. Just like it's not an East Coast Canada and a West Coast Canada thing. Karate doesn't know any borders. Shintani karate is for everyone. And I didn't catch on then. I was a little bit too fatigued, but I did catch on eventually. And I remember again, Sensei not being anything that I expected. My instructor out of nowhere says, come on, we're going to go up and train with Sensei. So immediately I'm excited. I'm all in. I'm ready for this. I'm thinking these were going to be some Zen moments. He's going to teach, show me his secrets to fighting and kata and his power and his speed. And we get up there and we meet him and we go in this little stairwell, okay? And out of nowhere, he goes and grabs 2 brooms and cuts the broom handles off and hands us these sticks. And he says, I've been working on this for a while. It's Shindo, and I want to train you guys in it. I'm immediately bummed. I try not to show it. I know he probably saw it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I wanted to learn all this cool stuff. And he's showing me these sticks. Then he says, I haven't taught it to anyone. It might change. We might change some things. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're the experiment. So, to be honest, he never changed a thing. It was always the same. And it took a while. After a couple of years, I had this epiphany and realized that this is his movement. This is how he does his timings. And it was one of those sweaty workouts. I'm drenched, I'm dead and dying. And he comes up to me with a certificate for knee-in Shindo. And I was totally shocked. And again, nothing that I expected. So I trained this stick, the Shindo, even more. And it was 6 years later, came up and he hands me a Yodan certificate. I didn't know what to do. But he said this: the Shindo is an American thing. It's not a Canadian thing. It's for everyone. It's who I am. And just like I always say, and he always proved, a master can speak volumes of information, of knowledge, with just a few words. And that is the one thing I'll never forget, along with Sensei's ability to just smile and bring that out in other people. And that's one of the things that I really try to do in a much different way than Sensei does, and we all do have our own style. But that's one of the things that I really do try, and I'm grateful for, an organization that we can do. So that's, my memories of Sensei and the things that he inspires me, those memories inspire me to do. And I hope the same for you.
Thank you, Sensei Peter, for sharing some wonderful memories and some of Sensei Shintani's wisdom there. I think it's so interesting, both in last year's REACH presentations and in this year's. Everyone who's asked to bring memories and stories of Sensei Shintani has some really kind of poignant moments and moments of wisdom that resonated with them that came from Sensei Shintani. There's just such a wealth of knowledge and insight there. We'll move now to our final REACH Award presentation.
The Contributor Award recognizes an individual who has truly made a difference to the SWKKF through their contribution to committees, governance, policy development, or financial sustainability within the SWKKF.
This year's recipient brings a wealth of experience and motivation to the dojo and to the leadership of the SWKKF. This person facilitates a positive team environment, which has led to the leadership of the SWKKF in the strategic planning, paired with budgeting and promotion of governance-based responsibilities. As one nominee wrote, she has pushed past the politic of personalities and assisted in the harmonization of the SWKKF strategic plan for the future substantiability and growth of the SWKKF. Additionally, who better to receive this award than one of the developers of the REACH program? Please join me congratulate Sensei Beverly Bruman King as this year's Contributor Award recipient. Congratulations.
Thanks, Sensei Dennis. This was a surprise. And thanks to Sensei Heather, I didn't have to write my own script. It's been an honor and a pleasure to train under Sensei Chris and Sensei Craig, to travel with Sensei Dennis and Sensei Ron, and to work with our karate Fourth Lake students and watch them grow, and to work with the Senate on ensuring that we are stronger together as we move forward. I truly believe that we give back because we receive so much, and I have been blessed. So thank you.
Congratulations, Sensei Beverly. And I do want to point out to everyone here that despite not being able to be present in person today, Sensei Beverly has been absolutely instrumental in putting together today's celebration, and it has done a ton of work behind the scenes to make all of this come together. So once again, thank you, Sensei Beverly, for all that you've done. So that actually concludes our formal presentations. As these award presentations come to a close, I'd like to thank Sensei Anne Reedhead, Sensei Rick Levier, and Sensei Peter Avino for sharing their memories of Sensei Shintani and of Shintani Wadokai with us. Thank you as well to all of our virtual tournament organizers, especially Sensei Rod Phillip, Sensei Anne Reedhead, Sensei Tom Foster, Sensei Katrina Marks, Sensei Karen Atkinson, Sensei Jim Atkinson, and Sensei Heather Fiddick, as well as congratulations to all of the participants and winners. And again, those results will be posted on the SWKKF site soon. Thank you to Sensei Dennis and to Sensei Beverly for presenting these Reach Awards to these very well-deserving karateka. And thank you to all of those who took the time and effort to enter these nominations. There are so many within our organization who do great things, and I'd like to acknowledge all of those who are also nominated in these categories. You've all clearly made an impression on your instructors, on your peers, and on the organization. So thank you for your outstanding contributions and your hard work. Finally, I'd like to thank Sensei Scott Knowles, who's been our technical backend tonight and very kindly lets me know when my audio isn't working. So thank you for that. And thank you to everyone who's joined us here tonight, everyone on the Zoom call, everyone in Delhi, and everyone who is watching the YouTube live. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight was a wonderful celebration of all that is Sensei Shintani and SWKKF. So with that, we'll kind of close out the formal proceedings. Sensei Dennis, I know you are here in person. If you would like to join us live to say a few words to wrap up.
Congratulations again to all the winners. Thank you very much, Bernadine and Scott, for being you were being our master ceremony at the same time. That's appreciated. And thank you all who participated in tonight's awards. Be safe, everyone, and be good, and have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sensei Dennis. All right, with that, the formal presentation is done. Please feel free, for those who are on the Zoom call, to unmute and say hi, in the chat, to congratulate our award winners. I see a few more people have joined us during the course of the event. And to the people who are watching on the YouTube live, please feel free to leave some comments on there as well. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy your night.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody. Sorry I missed the start of it.
Congratulations. Have a good night.
Congratulations from Delhi. Great job, Sensei Bernard. Thank you.
Knocked us over there.